G'day everyone, Goober here with another Torchlight SS6 video. This one will be about league start builds. I will be starting with Boom Moto, as everyone can start as Boom Moto this season if they like, because everyone gets all previous characters unlocked for free at the start of the league. If you want to play the new character, you'll have to get the battle pass and pay to play that character if you like. However, everyone can do the initial stuff themselves. If you saw my previous video about flipping currency, this is evidence of, it works even at the end of the season. So I sold 999 flame sand for 20 flame elementium, gets you 17 in the end. And I sold 10 flame elementium for 2000 flame sand, so I benefited 850 plus 7 flame elementium. And the elixir of oblivion, exactly the same. I sold 50 for 17, 15 after tax, sold 17 flame elementium for 132 elixir of oblivion. That same concept will work at the start of the season, so that is a very, very quick, very easy way of getting a lot of currency early on to get your gear. The first build that I will recommend is my own build, because I am biased and I think that my builds are great. So last season, or current season, last season I put together all these builds. People copied them, fantastic. I had a lot of help over the seasons to develop these, and these are pretty basic, simple builds to go with. As you can see, the gear is quite horrendous. You just pick up a couple of interlocking souls early on. I might quickly load up the patch notes and see if this got changed. It got buffed out the pooper. 40 to 60% minion damage, 120 to 150. That is a pretty sizable buff for a one-hander that you'll get from the treasure troves early on. Goes up to 200% minion damage and restores max life. That's a bit of a change. Plus 3% minion life regen per second. Consumes 5% max life when you use a summon skill. Changes into restores 3% max life when you use a summon skill. Consumes 5% max life when minions attack. Hopefully that is poorly translated, because that would make this item unusable for an order moto. Actually, for any moto. That would almost kill you instantly on every sort of moto. That looks that looks like it bricks your item completely. Hopefully that is not right. If that consumes 5% of the minions' max life when they attack, sure. Your max life, oh boy. Unless you are ES based, that looks horrendous. But this looks incredible. The oh, I see what they've done. Still a nice buff. They've removed the 28 to 35% there. So instead of it being 68 to 95, it's now 120 to 150. So they've just added that to that. Still a slight buff. Really nice to see. Back to the build. So you get 2 interlocking souls early on. You don't really need slates. You barely need hero traits, which is good, because these are completely changing next season. So this will be different. However, you can just get basic gear. If sets are still in the game, you can just get the sets, and this will allow you to farm tier 7 quite comfortably, and that'll allow you to buy those initial set pieces or legendaries that you need to progress your build. So very basic servant damage, crit strike, You can go with crit damage. Mechanical modification is huge. Maniacal Army helps you summon the maximum amount of minions. Bit of added lightning damage. Very basic, generic build. With this, depending how easy it is to find the new noble skills, you would change out the 5th one for the noble skill to enhance your Grim Phantoms, so they blink on the enemies instead of charge at them. Going on, you would just have Compound Source with Preparation, so you don't have to think about using it. Blink with Quick Mobility. Dark Gate Preparation, so you don't have to think about using it. Elemental Destruction Preparation. And that is a way to heal, mobility, and a couple of damage enhancers. If you get the Mind Infusion boots, Dark Gate helps trigger. Oh, no, you'd switch that out for what's that? Other Machine Army, I think it's called, and go with that. That is a day 1, very early build. Once you start progressing, day 2, day 3, that's when you start getting your legendary items. Fiend Crown, Winter of Origin belt, Mind Infusion boots. Mind Infusion boots, Empower skill triggers Dark Gate. So I should have changed, yes. So now I'm using Electrocute as an Empower skill. So then that triggers Dark Gate by itself. You no longer have to use Dark Gate in your skills. Oversight has been reworked in the new season. No longer has the crafting aspects, has more skill levels, but this has been nerfed a little bit. So it'll be a very good early item to be replaced later on. As you start getting through, obviously you'll get more hero traits, better slates. There's going to be a huge focus on getting additional focus blessing stacks on your slates due to the change to Winter of Origin, which I'll quickly show you. So previously you would just get Winter of Origin. It would change the focus blessing stack to plus 6% additional minion damage, and it would give you own additional minion focus blessing stacks, unable to gain focus blessing. Now you must have at least 9 to 10 stacks of focus blessing to gain the benefit of the additional minion damage. So you're going to need things on your slates that give you a chance to gain focus blessing plus max focus blessing stacks, which would be an example of. So you would be looking for things like 100% chance to gain 1 stack of tenacity, agility, and focus blessing on defeat. That means when you kill an enemy, you gain a stack there, as well as having additional focus blessing stacks would be really quite nice as well. They're quite pricey right now, but it's at the end of the season, so the prices are all scuffed. However, having that ability to gain focus blessing stacks there is going to be quite huge. And then there'll be other ones like max focus blessing stacks will be very important. Inflicting freeze, if you do cold damage, I guess. Frostbitten, own additional frost blessing stacks. So there'll be many ways of getting additional focus blessing. A good change is it has removed the inability to gain focus blessing, so you'll be able to gain them naturally, I guess, and progress in that fashion. Then once you've been farming for a few days and you've got yourself an activation rhythm, you'll be able to go to one of the big boy builds oh, I wonder if this is still in the game, because this is quite an interesting item. Let's just see if it's still in the game. Doesn't look like it. Shame, unless it's just not updated in here. Who knows? But this is where you would focus on getting an activation medium rhythm perpetual motion, something with a low cooldown. So triggers the supported skill on the closest enemy every 0.2 seconds. That means you're casting 6 enemies every 0.2 seconds, and it is quite crazy. Again, you would have the new skill in support level 5. However, the rest of the skills are quite generic. Crit chance, crit damage, extra minions, and something in there. Unfortunately, the activation medium has to go in the first slot, so you can't have minion damage there. So you just go crit strike, crit damage, extra minions, and the new one there. Compound source for healing. Blink with cost conversion because you're sealing a lot of mana, so you just use a little bit of health instead. Machine army with perpetual motion, not perpetual motion, preparation, sorry. So you don't have to think about casting it. Same with Frost Shield, and then you have your auras. I believe the supports are changing, but basically Precise Weapon Amp is always fantastic. Gives additional physical damage, and the Precise gives paralysis. Precise Fearless for the extra crit strike damage. Elemental Res is always really nice, and Precise Swiftness for a bit more movement speed. Soul Candles, you'll go with minion skill servant damage, +2 minion skill level, and if you are using the new spider cascading explosions, you would go for split or parabolic splits in that slot as well. Hardened is very good. Parabolic splits and main skill level, all very, very nice. So that is my #1 recommendation for League Start. The Boom Moto is going to be very strong. A lot of the items have been buffed. I will try and put out a maxroll.gg build guide in the description. Sorry, I'm going to cough. Not a good sign that I'm getting sick a couple of days before season launch. Ugh, whatever will I do? So anyway, Boom Moto will be my #1 pick. Next up for my recommendation, I'll have to switch to my hardcore character. The next recommendation that I would have would be Youga2 Mind Control. Now this is definitely going to be a fantastic League starter, mainly because I know it works. You can get it all yourself because this is my hardcore solo self-found character. I love that name, Tynormous Gits. If you know, you know. But anyway, moving on. Looking at the gear on this character, Strange Snow, really good. Might just double check some of this stuff to make sure it's still available in the new season. This will have to change because you can't get Reap or Affliction on the new Oversight. So you would just go with a weapon, a wand, and get Reap, Affliction, dot damage, etc. on that instead. Unfortunately, it looks like the Strange Snow amulet necklace is either not in the game anymore or it's just not on the website yet. So a couple of quick updates on the gear. The Light Hunter belt gives a whole bunch of flat energy shield, which is great. I'm pretty sure it gave that previously. Converts 30% life to energy shield instead of 16 to 20, which is really nice. Energy shield cannot be interrupted is the main reason that you use this belt. And the more energy shield that you're missing, the faster the charge speed becomes, as well as some flat erosion resistance, which is really quite nice. The Traceless Pain, dot damage, really nice. It has the Reap. The Reap was 0.5 seconds last season. It is 0.25 seconds. So it reaps half the amount. Has a 1 to 3 second cooldown. Hopefully you get a 1 second cooldown. Gives a tiny bit of fire and cold res. However, it has the dot damage on there, which you would have put on yourself anyway. King's Boon Boots previously reaps dot damage. Still reaps dot damage with a 1.523% though, so hopefully you want the 1.5% there. More with less is still there. Looks like the same. Additional dot damage taken is still there, but you can get 10% instead of 30 to 40%. And obviously it will come with movement speed on there as well. So there's the 3 legendary items that you would chase for. However, on the necklace, you just want to be going for anything with affliction effect on there, reap, dot damage, that sort of thing. And yeah, so just on the gear and stuff, you just want as much energy shield because you have the light hunter belt. And yeah, resistances, max energy shield, and affliction effect. That's pretty much all you need to gear for on Youga. The mind control skills. It does persistent damage. Each link of the skill restores 8.5% max life per second. So you just run around leeching off enemies, which is really, really, really nice. Entangling Pain, blink to get around. Starstalker gives you a buff of dot damage, additional dot damage there. Fixate for a marking of the enemies. And then some generic stuff here with Energy Fortress for more max ES. And then as a very simple build, you just hold down R, charge around, and kill enemies that way. So this will be a very solid starter. Obviously it doesn't die because I'm level 95 quite easily in hardcore solo self-found. The last build that I will recommend is Carino. Let me see if I can find a build. So this is my brother's build. He was one of the first. He wasn't the first because he slacked off. He was in first place for weeks. And then he just couldn't be bothered getting the last half of the level. Now, why would you do that? Just finish it off. So he got beaten to level 100. However, this is the skills that he used for his level 100 hardcore solo self-found character. Blazing Bullet, Life Source for a bit of regen, Mobility Skill, a debuff for the enemies, as well as Elemental Destruction, Flame Imbue, Precise Projectiles, Precise Energy Fortress, and Charge Flames. His Soul Candles, pretty basic. Movement speed with Fire Pen. Aura effect, he wouldn't have done much a turner. However, this is a league start build. If you're playing in Trade League, then this will be incredibly easy to gear towards. It's just set pieces, Cicada Shell, Blind Vision, Ocean of Rock, and Traveler's Glance. This is huge. The mark effect and stuff. Hopefully this is still in. Let's quickly check the website. Hopefully it just hasn't been put in yet, because that will be extremely disappointing if Traveler's Glance is not in the game, because that is an insane weapon. It was the #1 used weapon for bots, so maybe that's why they removed it, which is a shame. Let's find another build for Carino 3. This one will be viable. That weapon's just nice. However, yeah. Interesting. Now for the overpowered Carino 3 build, which was Ring of Blades. Ring of Blades was just insanely overpowered for Season SS5. Ring of Blades just covered the screen in projectiles and annihilated everything. Multiple projectiles, more projectiles, crit strike, crit damage, and guard. Again, fixate for the debuff, blurry steps to run around, life source for a bit of a heal, mana boil, additional spell damage. Again, elemental res, precise projectiles, magical source, and energy fortress. Going on to the gear, Twisted Branch is still in the game. Let's quickly just have a quick look at it. It looks like it has been nerfed a fair bit. 10 to 20% of the increase is also applied to projectile speed versus 45% last season. Projectile duration, it does have +1 projectile skill level. Attack speed, really nice. Gear physical damage. So it had projectile quantity up here as well. Oh, it's skill level now, not quantity. So maybe that's been nerfed a fair bit. I'd never played this. I just know that it was a very overpowered skill last season. We saw the changes to that. And yeah, so Carino 3, Ring of Blades, any class Ring of Blades should be really strong. Another build that will be really strong is probably Whirlwind Rihan. Should be a really fun build. Erica, Whirlwind. Whirlwind, I think, next season is going to be insane. I just don't have a build guide to show you. But Youga2 should be very, very strong. Let's just quickly load up a map. Excuse me. I don't know what I was doing on this character. It's been quite a hot minute since I did it. But you just run through the map. Everything dies. And hopefully I don't die because this is hardcore. But all I'm doing here is I'm running around holding down R. And things are dying. So that is Youga2, mind control. You just run around annihilating everything. And this will be a very good starter for SS6. After this, I'll quickly jump across to my Boom Moto so you can see what that looks like. It's a bit of a different gameplay, a bit more fun in my opinion. However, this is also quite decent. I love that you can just press A and pick stuff up off the ground. The stars are being removed with next season, which is fantastic. The boss damage for MC Yuga is kind of bad, but it is an extremely safe build, and that's where it really excels. So let's switch across. I accidentally went too far and I loaded into an old map. It amazes me that a map is still open after 2 months. Righty, this is what gameplay looks like on my Boom Moto. You just run around holding A to pick up loot. And everything is exploding. So this is what I will be doing early on in next season. Is this the hardest difficulty? Surely not. That was the map anyway. Let's just double check what I just loaded, because that seemed way too easy. So this is time mark 8. Let's change it to 8. Let's go to a different zone where I've actually unlocked more 8s. Alrighty, this is 8-4. Let's just quickly load this up. Yes, you don't have the survival, whatever. Hopefully I don't die. But this is 8-4 on Boom Moto. Pretty hard, as you can see. Everything takes ages to kill. And yeah. Hopefully this is what it looks like at the start of next season. 8-4 gameplay. GG. I can't wait to get to that level. Obviously that's going to be a couple of weeks in. But what I'm expecting next season is, with the changes to the spider boom, it's going to be a cascade of more explosions. Anyway, that's all I've got. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.